Test, test. Let's see what we got. Test, test. I'm probably going to be silent again. Test, test. I'm probably going to be silent again. Alright. I do need to look at maybe getting a better headset at some point. Now that I got that going, I can drop that down. And I am going to pull up our good dough. Maybe getting a better headset at some point. Now that I got that going, I can drop that down. And I am going to open. Pull up our dough. At some point. Now that I got that going. What I'm doing is I'm getting my YouTube on my phone pulled up. That way we can, I can see the chat. So give me just a minute while I get that going. Turn down the volume. Because I don't want to listen to myself, for one. And I don't want y'all to have to listen to me double. So give me a minute. Alright, so now I can see the chat. I will try to be responsive on it. Yeah, and we'll just move on. So yesterday we worked on this area, which is going to be a waterfall area, and we worked on some of the ledging. This looks fine, but we talked about this being a little too straight. So I do want to edit that out a little bit. I want to clean it up. And that way it feels like you are having a little bit more depth to it. Because obviously if I put trees here, it's going to overlay on accident to this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to bring it down just a tad and have it come closer to the cliff side. And that'll give me some vibrance to that. So I can erase this stuff. And mainly what we're doing is we're just working on the winter area right now for the demo for Valerune. These areas can change. It's just based off of what we will be dealing with when it comes to a demo and what we need. And then when the full game gets closer, at that point, these areas will probably be fleshed out a lot more, but I do want them lively. I don't want them just looking like they exist in an internal plane of nothingness. So first, I need to place... Let me get an erase off because it's not going to help me if I don't turn it off. I want to place that because we want to bring it down. And honestly, it may be that I need to do that. And so... Nope. We can do this. Like I said, it does not matter if it's a little close, but I do want it to follow a little bit the pathway. And that way it'll give it that lively look about it. But I gotta be particular. I've got to make sure I'm placing my stuff correctly. And that way it looks correct. Because there is a such thing as messing this up. Don't want to mess it up. As you can see, that doesn't line up. So it's wanting me to utilize these tiles somewhere. And actually, I curved it in probably a little too early. So why don't I put a straight piece right here? Or I could curve it in like that. it won't hurt it to look a little bit like that. So what it's mad about is it's seeing me do that, and I just gotta put that in. So it's seeing these straight pieces, this half curve right here, and it's confused. And so, let's see. And then I could just pick the snow out right there. And it creates a little bit of a jut out. I can bring it down more, which is fine at this point because we've added a little bit of depth to it. And I'm probably going to do a tad bit on this side too to make this lake look a little bit like what's the word? Make it look like it's on a different level of plane too. If my wording gets all mixed up, just bear with me. I'm smart. I can totally speak English. It just does not come off my tongue like it's supposed to. Let's see. We'll do that there because that is correct. And then we're going to do another one of these. Yeah, so that's looking better. That's making it stand out a little bit better. We'll also work on bringing our tree wall just a tad bit up or bringing some liveliness to it. Tree walls are meant to be in the background. They're not meant to be like your main borderline unless you're really like making a forest style. And since we're kind of in the mountainous region at the moment of this forest, I do want to make sure that that is not what's standing out as the cliffside forefront. I want it to feel like there's other things up there that you can't reach. That normally would interest you. And I'll probably end up making a foliage too today. That way I can actually layer different foliages against each other. So maybe foliage back, foliage front. And that way I can layer stuff. No big deal. So in order to bring this one back, I'm once again going to bring this down. And that's already looking 10 times better. And I'm going to stop right there. Now, I mentioned I kind of want to have a staircase feel coming up here. So I really need to honestly make a make a layer right here that makes this look like it's on a different plane, obviously. That's not the easiest said and done, just because it already like feels like, oh yeah, you're cutting it off and you're at the top. So maybe what I need to actually do is make the stair right here, and then maybe bring the mountainside around through there. And that way it gets cut off somewhere, and you just can't go any farther up here, but you can see that it curves and it connects here. Because, I mean, you're going to have the mountain all the way around here if you're already putting in this position. You're already making a mountainous region. It needs to have a wall. It needs to be cut off somehow. So let me go to path. And I'm actually going to bring the path down. And we're going to possibly go ahead and bring this down and go ahead and bring it up. Because I said I was going to stop there, but since I do need to actually create a whole border around this area that's going to stand out and make this look like it's a part of a mountainous region, I'm going to need to make it a full 360. Or at least bring it back to where it ends. So we're going to go back to cliffside. And I'm going to continue doing this. I'm not using... Now I can make a auto tile set specifically for the tops. Which may benefit us in the end. Because what you're doing is you're pushing it up against the edge. Well, actually you're pushing it in the middle. So my main thing would be I would take the insides of the edge up top on what is actually considered the edge, and then I would create a snow piece as the middle sediment, and it would just kind of follow my flow. I mean, I can definitely try that. But then again, it may just completely bite us in the butt. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try it. Let me save real quick so I don't lose anything. Even though I've only been here 5 minutes, I don't trust that system. And I'm going to edit, and I'm going to create a terrain set. Pop this down, add a terrain set. Okay, so that's fine. We're gonna do that. Perfectly fine. We're gonna use the brown. Let's go to tile set. Let's go to paint, add terrains, terrain set, terrain 0. And what I want to do is, even though I could probably set some of these to be solid, it's it's a lot of work to make a tile set, an auto tile set out of this. So what I'm just gonna do is pop these pieces in, and what these pieces are the full edge pieces of the front half of the mountain, and then of course you've got the side pieces, and then obviously I'm going to need a snow piece to match that up. So I need to decide what is a good piece. Now I can come back in here and change this later, no big deal. But I do want to make sure that we have because I can come in and add some different snow pieces later. But I want to make sure I've got this. So I'm looking for my edge. What I don't want, so I want it to touch snow and only snow. I don't need the edge, so I don't need to color everything in. I just need the edge pieces that are possibly going to touch that solid block, so I don't need anything extra. And I don't know if this is going to work or not. I just know that I'm following the theory of what a normal tile set would do if it was forced into an auto tiling system. Yeah, because this can be a pain if done wrong. So as you can see, I've got all these membraned out. Only if they are touching snow are they allowed to touch anything. So let's try it. This may go terribly. This may go great. This may solve my problem of having to auto tile these things separately. I mean, just placing these things separately. As soon as I get the tile set situated. Oh. I'm waiting for it to understand that I have something going on here. Sometimes it takes a minute. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so it's definitely trying to auto tile something. The problem is it's trying to auto tile a full circle. And that's not what I technically need. It's great if you want to like really flesh out a cliff set. Which, I mean, I'm not complaining either, because I can definitely use that. Because, I mean, look, I could even put a cliff set up here. Color it in. And voila, I just got to put the basings on it. And it's a different layer. That's great. That's awesome. But it's not awesome for what I'm wanting to do, which is just roll it. So maybe I go back into the terrain set and I take out that middle piece. Maybe it only needs to touch these guys. Maybe it doesn't need to look for a snow piece. So we're going to try that. But it's nice to know that I did create that. Oh, God. So, what you don't know is, Godot just froze. I have to either wait for it to respawn, which 90% of the time it does not, or I have to restart this thing altogether. I cannot move my mouse, so I'm just going to make sure it's not my mouse by turning it off and on. And nothing is continuing to work. I'm going to try to tab out. Alt tab delete. So my mouse is not moving at all. So what did I do? Okay, so there's that. Okay, we're back. I am going to save. I know I just saved. I do not want to step backwards, and I just want to make sure it's right. I'm assuming my mouse just died, like, was having issues. If it dies, I'll just replace the battery, whatever. So, there's that. Now I want to go back into the tile set. And I want it to just treat anything without snow. Oh. So it's now just treating itself together. That's also not what I want. It'd be nice to just draw it, but what it wants to do is it wants to find a means to make a circle. It wants to make itself completely together, and that's a problem. I don't know if this would work, where it's not looking for all sides. And it may be that I need to add that snow piece back and then try this drawing method. So, I'm going to try that. Let me go back to tile set. I'm going to bring back in that snow piece. And I'm going to go back in tile map, and we're just going to see what happens if I draw the straight path. I didn't think about it earlier, or I would have. So it's just wanting to draw straight. It's not wanting to worry about everything else going on in 50 different directions. Still is not useful for me. So I guess I could back it down a tad. And not quite what I want either. So take out the curve. We'll come back to this. I think I'll continue just to draw it as is. Until I can understand that a little bit better. But yeah. So let's see. Let's just go back to what we were doing. We're just going to start drawing it again. Back over to tiles. And we're just going to bring it on down. Just a tad bit more. And start turning it in here. Let's use this piece, obviously. Because we're coming back at an outer angle again. And so I need to be able to do this. And then we're going to bring this on down. I may as well just pop that extra piece in there for now because it's what connects it all. And with this not being decorated yet, it does look pretty bland. But you can also see spots that don't have that mountainous feel to it. So it's going to also look that way. So now, let's go back into that curve. Except, we'll go back here. We're a little too close to the path. So what I need to do is I need to honestly do two more of these to get us away from that path. We'll try this one. We'll just see if it's enough to knock us away from it. And that way we can bring a full layer down. All it's doing is it's just saying, hey, this is as far as you can go. Whoop! This is as far as you're going to be able to go until, you know, and let's actually go back up. Let's make a little cup here. We haven't really done a lot of inlets. And we've done a bunch of turns. But not really, like, into each other, like half circle over here on the edge. And it'd be nice to have a little half circle here with maybe something that's neat to look at. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that. Instead of me... and there is a lot of this same curve coming in. You know, let's do it one more time. Let's go back in. Let's go in one more time, and then now let's bring that piece down. And let's bring it right here. And what you would technically do here is you're gonna use these pieces, not there, but there, to do that, because you're gonna need to use this piece, honestly, to make that end. Oh. But it makes a nice little curve. It makes, and then you can bring it on down. Go ahead and save again. And we're going to actually bring it on down and bring it back closer. I keep doing that instead of missing. And what I'm trying to do is hit my middle circle. And actually, I think I want to do like a staircase right here. So let's bring this bad boy in. Now, I have to honestly remember, I'm not doing this in the reverse pattern. I have to remember I'm looking at it through a different visual angle. So, technically, it needs to be these two. Which means I'm missing a certain angled piece to make that look right. And I just want to compare real quick when I'm looking at that to make sure I didn't overlap that too much. But, and just in case, I am going to erase that. I do want to see if maybe I did that wrong. And I probably did. I'm kind of new to this. Oh, yeah. So what I want to do is make sure I'm not doing it to where you can see like this going down and it's not giving that 3D effect. So now we're going to go back this way. And go down again. And stop. We'll stop right there. So now I'm going to do that in reverse. So I do want to make it to where it looks like, okay, this is where it stops coming up. So I really need this thing to waddle itself off the side. So what I'm going to do is place it there. The tree wall may... Yeah, so the tree wall is actually needs to be above us. So what we're going to do is do that. And I need to, I guess, erase something right here. Something there. So I'm looking for a certain thing causing... And I don't think it's going to be these. So I want to look... Something has those pieces in it. And I'm curious what it is. It's the tree wall, but when I go to erase them, they don't disappear. It's probably because it's with the tree wall itself. Oh. So I probably need to... So nothing's erasing there, which is typical. This is not my tree wall. I was about to say, no wonder I couldn't erase anything. Okay. So let me try to put the cliffside over it. It may not do it. No, it's wanting to put it behind it. And so that gives me an issue where I probably need to actually have it up above it. I may have to get rid of that part of the tree wall. And put something a little less. Maybe bring it... Like do that, but maybe... Instead... Not what I need. So actually, that's not bad, but it's not great. Because it doesn't do any defining. It wants to define that piece right there. But because of that, it's causing me an issue. So what I'm going to do instead is I am going to back it off a tad. Whoop. And let me just see what I can do. Cliffside. We're not doing that with the cliffside. I just want to go back to tile map. We're not doing that. Yeah, so it's now going to let me do it. Perfectly fine. Okay, just making sure. And we have this. And I can't tell. Yeah, it's sitting on top of it. I don't want it on top. But it wants to hide it. Whoop. So what that's telling me is the way it's laid out and how this is working, this actually needs to be a top. So maybe not this, but the canopy. So this piece, we wanted the corners shooting out. It's neither of those corners. It's not this one. I gotta figure out which corner it is. Which one is it? Oh, I don't know which one it is. Let me go back down to tree wall. It's that one. 2-2 on the atlas, which means it should match up to the canopy being on 2-2. So it's that one. What it's not doing is lining up on the same piece as these guys. I mean, that is correct. It's off. This is where you kind of get with the hard part of dealing with tiles that do not, that are on the same setup, but they're not going to line up together on the in the end. It may end up being that the tree wall right here just needs to come in, right there. Has nothing to do maybe with anything else. Just maybe that the tree wall needs to be there. And maybe I just need to back the tree wall out a little bit and change what frames are actually touching that tree wall at the time. Because I don't care for the most part. Where if you can walk behind it or not in these areas, because that's not going to be where you're going to actually interact. Let's go back to the tree wall, because that's going to be an issue. And let's just add that piece in. I think that solves all of our head-on issues. Because I do want to bring it in. Now, this may be an issue later, and it may see something that I have to come back to and actually treat differently. Because I don't know 100% why these are not lining up to the terrain build. And it could just be the fact of transformation could be different. Scale could be different. I don't know. It's saying it's on that plane. Relative to Z. Pieces interlope. Canopy. Well, visibility. I don't think there's going to be anything different on that end. No. Rendering. Quadrant size is 16 on that one. Quadrant size might not be the same on this one. That could be. No, it's still 16. Physics. Navigation. Physics. Navigation. So none of that's different either. Other than the fact of one's a negative something, one's that. I don't know if that would change anything. It could. But we're gonna just see what happens as we continue the cliffside and see what else we can do for it. If it starts to cause issues, I'll start looking into it more. But I'm hoping it doesn't. Hoping we're good to go here. And yeah, we'll just see. And they're going to be able to tell that. Like I said, maybe the fact that we're going to have to erase through that. Maybe the tree wall shouldn't exist where that is. This is all a work in progress. I have no problem changing up the pace a tad. Now that'll probably be a canopy top right there. Yeah, well, yeah, I gotta figure out why. Let me see if this is the difference. Negative 546, negative 179. 546, 179. Negative 546. Alright, a 179. Okay, so that lined him up better. That's a lot better. So what that allows for me to do is, even though it looks to you like I've done nothing, I can put stuff behind all of these. The issue is, though, as you can see, there's a straight piece right here. That looks very, 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 very unnatural. I don't know if anyone thinks that looks natural. They are wrong. So I definitely want to make that look better. I think these are all overlays. So technically, if you were to say, let's go back. I don't want to change any of that, but I do want to come back and I want to bring this tree wall back up. And yeah, it's going to do its thing. Whatever. You see some of it, it's going behind. The problem is you see that there's going to be trees coming out of the woodwork. I don't want that. So I don't know if there's anything I can do that maybe would make it function different. I'm going to see. We're going to play with it. Even if it's me manually playing with it. Which is quite a possibility I'm going to be doing. Which of these is going to be my miracle worker? I don't know. Stop it. Let me just do tiles. I don't even want to do that. I want... That's great and all. That's not. So that looks better right there. No one's really going to notice. A lot of things you will see in games is there is a bottom tile. There's sometimes variations. This one does have a variation, but it's got a path in it that we are not using, so I'm not using it. Then mainly if I go back here and I do my cliffside, and I do go through here and place these along the path. And maybe it's just stop them right there. Whatever. It's behind a tree wall, so you don't care really if there's design method in this. Main thing is just making it look as realistic as possible. Then I'm going to go over to the actual canopy. Actually, I take that back. Let me just continue this cliffside, and I want to finish this out. I'm going to do the regular just for the moment. Until I decide where I want to. Yeah. That's a bit ugly and overwhelming, isn't it? Oop. I am going to fix some of that. But my main goal is to put at least that much in. Alright. Now I'll go in here. Everybody knows that's a repeating tile. Yuck. No one wants that. Wrong one. Sometimes it's just easier to go through and add the blank tile first. And I am going to zoom in here in a second to make sure that looks right. Not quite. But I don't have much options to deal with here. I don't know if there's any alternatives. Not quite. I mean, these are alternatives, but they're meant to do something else. think you're supposed to use them with like those. I don't know. I'll have to look at them, see what I like. But yeah, what I do want to do though is every now and then add that crack in. And all it does is bring character. It's not great. It probably does look like it's a little bit troublesome. But I still got that one ace up my sleeve. And I can use it. It's not great. There's probably more I could do with it. But for now, it looks better than it did. And we're just going to go with it. So now we're at the point where, oh yeah, now you've got the tree wall. We've got a problem. Well, one, that's cut off. So, in order to use the canopy, I need to find out which one of these tiles will prevent that from being cut off and look natural. Problem is there's also the fact that there's going to be no stumps with it. So, you know what? Nah, we don't need it, right? Let's get rid of it. Let's add just a simple curved tile right there. And there, that solved my issue. Doesn't solve my issue down here though, does it? So what I want to do is just do the canopy up here. So the tree wall needs to be below the cliff side. The canopy needs to be above the cliff side, how I've got it set up. Which means I need to come in here and actually with the tree wall, I need to add these in. And the reason I'm adding them in is because it's going to be above it right now. But I need these stumps. Without these stumps, there's no hope. Absolutely no hope. Why does that have to be so much bigger? It's probably just because I'm looking at it weird. Okay, let's just say, yeah, that looks great. Nothing's odd about any of that, right? Okay. Canopy. Same one. Canopy. Though the canopy, I really do need to end it, like right there. So maybe I need to go back over here to tree wall. And with that one, do that. That way I have the stump. Yeah, so we'll start with that. We'll just see what it looks like. I'll have to just remember that I'm having to do canopy with canopy. So what it's doing is it's overlaying. So it's hiding everything behind it, but we also know that we're looking at it and we know that it's got that mountainous behind it. So because I did that and I stopped it, I took all that tree wall out, I need to redo this area. And the reason I need to redo it is because this does not look right when you're looking at it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fight with my terrains. I'm going to just see what I can do here. See, I don't want that. Oh, that looked fine. What I may have to do is redo the whole complete. So what it's doing is it's following my effort the best effort I can give to try and make a pathway here. And I don't know if that's walkable by a human. I would assume it is. Just a real tight walk. But I do want to make sure that it has a nice stop right here at the cliffside. But the problem is, do I want it to stop there and come back down? Yeah, we can do that. Let's see. Let's bring a path through here. I just want to see. There's that. I'll have to do canopy right here. Just because of how it cut off the roof of this. So where is the canopy for that? It's going to be on the split path. I'm going to assume it's this group, right? Nope. Maybe it's this group. So now why is it not? Probably because path is above it. So let's bring path down it. Now let's look at it. That's great and all, but that's not the... Where are we at right now? That is right. Why is it not letting me? I had the wrong ones. Let's cancel that one out. I do believe that is a sharp turn. So the only thing is you're going to see that. Let me walk over there real quick. Let me save. Let me just walk over there. Let me just see how it feels so far and see where we're at. Yeah. And obviously nothing. I'm going to walk over everything at the moment, but I do want to treat it as if I'm walking on a path. I'm going to walk down. I just don't like that part. And I don't know if there's a way that I can change that. It treats it as a canopy. Now I can bring the tile map up again. And what I need to do is find the piece that it's trying to pull that from. Let me go back to tree wall real quick. It's hiding it behind it. Okay. That makes more sense. It's supposed to be a stump. I have an idea. I'm going to go into GIMP and I'm going to get rid of that stump. And I'm looking for the tree wall. probably not going to let me have it right now. I'm going to get rid of that and then come back to it. So that's my plan. So I'm going to get rid of that. I do not want it. I could tell this is a canopy issue. Let's go back into tree wall. Let's just take care of that. We're just going to remove that piece. Because what I'm going to do, and I see where it's coming from. Pulling it from there. So I need so that needs to be a canopy piece. Okay. Go back over to canopy. My issue here is that I could bring it up and shoot it through there. See what happens if I do that. ones can be very complicated, especially when you're trying to get something that needs a stump back in place without having that. I may end up getting rid of that. This tree wall is complicated. It's fine. I don't mind it. What I mind is the distance. Let me get that back. That's the canopy, right? Let's pop that off. You know what? It doesn't have to come this far over. Let's have this come up. Nope. Maybe the canopy can do that. I'm still not happy. Not very happy at all about that. I can bring it up. And I can see that there's already a canopy piece here. There. Not the greatest. Really not. Not very unique, but it does what I need it to do. And what I may do to combat that awkwardness is come here and back it up. And just remember that this is a cliff. It's gonna be awkward. So maybe going that way, right? So I need to angle it just so. No. Alright. Now I'm going to take it back up. Do I want it, though, to stop right there? Yeah, we'll do it right there. And that way. I can bring it down a few. Because I do want to create a little nice bevel in this. Well, let's just go straight. Oh. Alright. I'll do that. But we need to also make a curve back in. But I don't want it to immediately go back in. Like, I want it to, but what I really want is to give this thing a unique shape. So I want it to follow it. We're just going to play with this. We're going to dance with this. So... not often are we messing with this side. I did not mean to do that, but actually I don't know if I don't mind that. Whoop! Let me save. My dog's barking. I apologize if you're watching this stream at this time and you're getting interruptions due to that. Oh. Give me just a moment. I'm going to put my dog away real quick so that way we can continue this stream peacefully. And be right back. Alright, I'm back. I apologize for the delay. I went ahead and put them outside. That way it wouldn't be so loud. I definitely don't want any interruptions, and I want y'all to be able to enjoy as much as you possibly can. So I'm going to continue to move up on this cliffside. And we're looking like we need a corner piece there. And so it's going to be this one. We're missing an edge. I do believe it's that, which means it might not be that one. It may be this one. There it goes. And it looks like we could do the wave piece right there. It's not the wave top though. We do need the wave top if we're going to do a wave piece. And I am going to maybe try to make this a little more curved in. I do like the idea of things curving towards each other. Make it a little less square there. Gives it a lot more definition. Okay, so let's look. Stopped it there. I need to turn the angle, obviously. And I've not been really using this piece as much. Probably just because But I wonder if I can make it talk between these two. It's not what I wanted to do. So now it'll kind of talk between itself. But that's not the direction I'm going in. But I may end up doing that on some of these long runs. Putting this in, that way it's a little bit more fleshed. But we can't have it on we're actually doing a full-fledged piece. Does not like to add in that last part. That's not right. Is it this one still? It is. Okay. Oh. Not to lie, I think I'm going to come back to some of this. Just because now that I kind of figured that out, I don't want to overwhelm myself with too much of the tree issues. The trees are obviously not always going to be there as I add things. And that is a problem right there. Let's bring that down. And then let's... That's better. But I do want to work on some of the other area. We got our pathway. Got our bridge. We got our future waterfall. But what we have also is a lot of nude area. Not a lot of decoration. So why don't we start with just looking at the foliages. Now I mentioned that I want to do a second foliage level because you can't put two bushes right next to each other and they can't without issues. So what I want to do is I want to rename this one Foliage Back. And I'm actually going to put this in parentheses. And what it means is it's telling me it's in the back. Now, I want to actually duplicate this layer and call this Foliage Front. And it should have the same tiles. It does. Because I duplicated it. Now, because it's front, I need it to be in front of the back. I do need it in front of the other stuff. So we're just going to kind of mess with it. These are in the foliage back. So let me see. Yeah, so I've got one of these right here. I want to see what it'd look like if I did this. So now I have two trees back to back. You can't tell that, but I can. And obviously I could have multiple layers if I wanted to do something like that. So maybe I want it to be like this. Now I know at least the trees are connected. Now that doesn't look good because you usually don't want to go towards your player. So I don't really like that. But if I wanted to put one in front of the stump, I could. So it's just allowing me to be a little bit more creative on how I place these. Same with the trees. If I wanted a tree to layer up next to each other that is non-choppable, then I'm going to want to put the tree together like that. So, now that that's going, I do want to go through and start decorating a little bit. Oh, it's on Snowy Edge. I don't know how we got over Snowy Edge, but we definitely don't want Snowy Edge to be where we place certain things. We want it to be on foliage front. And actually we're going to do foliage back just in case we do want to have that extra layering system. I do want to add some of these water stones. And I don't want to do too much. Just here and there. Because I really haven't defined the deeper areas yet, which I plan to do. And see, I keep hitting something that makes me want to click. And these may not be where these stay. I may not even like them here in the end. But they may help me also define what's going to go where and what's the deep end and what's not. We also have the non-water related stump rock, which we can place around. Main thing about those is you don't want to place them in a linear path, or it just does not look good. See, that kind of looks like I've lineared it, and so it just doesn't look right. So I'm gonna back them out for a minute. I do have other stuff here. I've got this stump. With this. These are more your edge pieces, like more towards like the trees and stuff, because obviously you need to have dead stumps near where the trees are in order for that to make sense. So why don't we just do this? We've got stones here. Got grass. We got some pieces here that are frozen. And let's scatter them. I don't know how often it'll scatter them, but we're going to see. Probably a little too much. Let's see. If we wanted to, we have a ability to just scatter these around. I'm not happy yet, because the reason I'm not happy yet is because there's not enough here for actually that to work. But it is a way we can do that. There is some tall grass. Now this is the one without the, and as you can see, those look really nice in the snow. We need to be very kind of mindful of where we place some of these. That's the fall versions. Those are the non-snowed on versions. These are the truly snowed on versions. That's actually going to be a back situation right there. I do want to place some of these down. That kind of gives some depth. Obviously, in these more populated areas where you can put a lot more trees, there's those options. So I am gonna... Maybe these will help us kind of define. Maybe we'll follow that route. I'm going to erase this one. And actually, I may go ahead and just erase this one too until we actually get that route defined for the mountainside over here. And it'll go all the way down. Unless we cut it off. We may cut it off. Let's get some over here. Then we also have this other tree. And then we got the other tree. I'm not going to exactly put in the other tree just right now. Because it's very similar to the trees that are cut downable, like the ones you can actually grow and cut down. And so I do want to make sure that we are being mindful of where it goes, what goes where, and all that stuff. So now let's add some in the front. Let's do some of the trees, big trees in front of each other. We gotta find some appropriate spots. I do not want to just place a tree to place a tree. That's not bad. And I'm sure there's gonna be more. I don't want to keep just placing them. And actually, I probably should have placed them on trees. It's whatever. I don't even know if I have anything on this one at the moment. I just have it set up for trees to be placed on it. So it may just become something else. So let's see. Let's do the shallow to deep water. Let's see where we want to put deep water. Let's back it up. Well, not the best, I would say, at doing deep water holes and stuff. I know it doesn't look terrible, but it definitely does not look like somebody did this right. And it's once again, I got to get that RNG better. Mm-hmm. All right. There we have it. It's a little better. Not the greatest. Absolutely not the greatest. I'm actually going to back that big one out. I'm gonna add another tile set in here so I can maybe fix this. So I'm gonna add the actual weighing tile set from this set. Let's see. I need the weighing. Oh, there they are. No. So what that did was it gives me a select amount of tiles in the water that I can work between. And then I'm going to go to the tile map and I can actually select these. And I think what I want to do is I want to just kind of work them in here. They don't look all the same. You can't tell me your eyes aren't telling you that those all look exactly the same. I just gotta be careful. It won't affect the deep water, but it will affect the snowy edge. I just want it to come on down and I don't think on the edges it looks that bad. But it looks bad when it comes to a larger area. Whoop. Gotta watch where I'm moving. That's already looking more natural. Doesn't have to look perfect, but I don't want that to look like I just cheaply pasted it all. Oh, whoop. We'll go to the outside shortly. I forgot that I can't just speed through it. I'm not looking to change them all. I'm just looking to and to make sure that they are getting like I said, some of these closer ones I'm not going to worry about too much about the edges. Okay. So that's a lot better. Still got to do the other side though. I can tell that right there is same. Yep. Same there. It's all about a steady hand, but my hand is getting cramped at this point from working on this and just having to be careful. This is why sessions don't usually last but a couple of hours when you're developing, like, because you end up like getting sore in the hands and especially if you're talking the whole time. I'm not as talkative I have been the past 2 nights because I'm concentrating. I know that there's not anybody watching right now, even though I hope that you'll watch later whenever the video on demand is out. But right now, I'm not having to too bad pay attention to answering questions. So I'm just kind of making sure to focus on what I'm doing. Because, I mean, the outcome is going to be the game, not you listening to me talk for hours. I just want to make sure that I'm making this look all authentic, making it all look good. And it doesn't all have to be perfect. But it will make it look better. Alright, so we made our way around. And I'm going to go ahead and save. This should look a lot better in the water when you get to it. There may be some spots that I notice later on as I'm walking around and checking things that it's still too much, and so I'll end up fixing that as we go. So we're at a spot where we've got a lot of it done. We've really come a long way. I've only got about 13 minutes or so until the stream is over. But I want to just kind of look at it as a whole. We've added some deep waters, which they may stay, they may not. I do need to add some more islands in there. Get some more creativity in there. That way it doesn't look like these are big old rivers and stuff. Because some of this is kind of a lake and some of it's not. Lakes can have plateaus in them. And the main thing is a lake usually does reconnect to themselves. So this one's more of a lake. This is more of your standard, not big lake. I mean, it looks big when your character's over there, but the truth is it's not as big. It's bigger than most of the rivers that'll be called a river. And so, other than that, we ended up getting down here and kind of starting right here. This area right here, yeah, I'm not sure. I may end up bringing this out and just shaping this like that. Like I said, I do want to come around maybe the next time I stream and do this area. Try and get through this whole squared out area. I'm going to start making it look like it's going downhill, which is where this is leading. I'd like it to kind of cut off right here. This kind of be an area, and then you're going up the pathway to the larger area. And then down here, it can be more of a field area. Not as much climbing, not as much 3D of that. But a lot is coming too. It's looking good. Like I said, it's very basic right now. It's got a lot that could happen to it. There's a lot more that can come, like when resources start spawning, or we get more, like, pretty spots and stuff. I'd like to do a few little ponds, maybe in here. It may be that I make this smaller, I don't know. But yeah, you're just gonna have to tell me your feedback and what you think needs to happen to make this look nice and clear cut and clean. I mean, I do feel like the size of the map is perfect so far for an area for the demo. In this area, I'd like to come into a cavern, maybe a place you can go mining right now, and then do another few areas. And then we still have NPCs to add, and we still have system crafting to work on, and UI, and there's just a lot to come by. So it's definitely going to take some time. But if we have the inspiration from the world being created, we're going to have more inspiration to create the village and stuff like that. I think that I'm going to end up using, I don't want to butcher this, but Zodiart. Um, their houses, one of their houses has a thatched roof, hay roof style, and it's logs all around, which is more of what we're looking for. I don't want to use too much stone. I don't want this to look medieval. But I know that they also had stone in their lives, from like stone walls and like little fencings broken up and stuff. But I do not want a full medieval look. But it's very hard to differ from those two places because Vikings existed at the time of medieval times as well, and so I do want to, but I do want that more of a early medieval than I want late medieval. So yeah, we're definitely gonna be trying to do some research. We want to get some animals commissioned and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a work in progress right now. I think we're making great progress on this map. For not having any clue what I was doing for the most part a week ago or 2 weeks ago, to not kind of getting this far and kind of just seeing how it flows, and makes me happy, and what isn't working and what is working and what can be better, but we just don't have those parts yet to make it better. It's just going to be time. I mean, it's just going to take time. I may look for another bridge set. I'm not sure. I do like the bridge set, and it may be just fine. It may just work out. But I really do like the log. The log, I think, fits very well because there's giants uh, and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you'll join me on the next one. I am going to cut it short right here just because my arm's getting sore and my mouth's getting dry, and I don't want to sit here and just bore you with just me talking. But, it's one of those things that I do want you to be informed. I do want you to all know what we are creating, and that is a game that's similar to Stardew, that's similar to Roots of Pacha, that's similar to Graveyard Keeper, but brings on that Norse mythology feel that lets you visit the realms, that lets you see the world tree. There's tons of games out there that are using this set, and support them. The artist behind this set is working hard to give developers and game designers a good asset pack. And so definitely support them. Support any games that come out. Indie developers work hard and they don't get paid for it. To make it big in the indie industry and to be on the level that like Concern Ape achieved, and any of the other developers that have done amazing in any of their fields in the indie development for games, it takes a lot of passion. It takes a lot of time, and they didn't do this overnight. A lot of these games have been in development and have been their passion for several years before they even announced them. And so we have an idea coming off from the First Star Online games platform and genre that used to be active back then. And so we know a little bit about mapping this kind of stuff. But outside that, it's all new to us. And so we're definitely exploring new avenues and stuff like that. I'd love to hear suggestions on what would make the game unique. I'd love to hear just suggestions on areas that you may suggest be in the game. The demo prototype is going to be, one of those things where this is what we're introducing, and this is how we want you to feel when you're playing this game. But it also gives us maybe a way to communicate with publishers, saying, what can you tell me is good that we're doing, and what can you tell me that we just need to stray away from? What is it that we may not help us succeed? How can we do it better? But yeah, so I'm going to end the stream here, and I hope you all have a great night. I hope you'll join me on the next streams. I'll be glad to announce those soon. And you can join our Discord through our channel page, and that's where you're going to see when the next sessions are. If not, subscribe, leave notifications, and like the video. This video will be up and be accessible for you to watch video on demand if you are not able to make it tonight. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to just hear from the community. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. But yeah, I'm going to save the game one more time. And that'll be it, guys. Hope you all have a great night.